What up, Hope Biscuits? It's your girl Skitten, back at it again, here with my husband, who has apparently decided that he feels like pissing me off today. Tell them what you just told me.
Oh, so in the Roman times, they used to share bathrooms.
No, not that.
Oh.
Y'all don't need to know about that, but if you want to know about that, go watch the Internet Historian video on his channel.
I'm sorry, what other thing have I... Apparently I've done a lot of upsetting things today.
Why did this man just tell me
Huh?
that Severus Snape deserved to have one of Harry's children named after him?
He deserved to have one of Harry's children.
No, he didn't.
It should have been Snape.
Snape was a garbage human being.
What is your definition of garbage? Maybe more like a recycle man.
He abused children.
For their own good.
He was a literal Nazi.
She's just making shit up now at this point. Being a nationalist is not the same thing as being a Nazi.
He was a literal Death Eater.
He literally just believed in the community of wizardry. As far as equality.
No.
That's what he believed in.
Don't talk. Anyway.
And then he loved that girl so fucking hard, dude. So fucking hard. He loved that girl.
That's like saying if a KKK member marries a black person, that they're a good person.
What a great thing that we should have them do. It's called community outreach and
God.
grassroots movements. Have you never heard of it?
I hope that you guys are doing well. I hope you guys are staying safe and sanitized. This, by the way, has nothing to do with what we're here to watch.
We should just put that intro in something else. But anyways, so I wanted to say this after I saw that it was about coffee.
Yes, this is the second part of the video.
We are now refuting coffee yet again for energy drinks. We had a clear chance at the store to buy it. We went energy drinks instead.
So today we are here to watch some more extra credits, extra history. This is the second video that they've in their duology, I guess, about coffee. If you haven't seen the first one, make sure you go ahead and check that out. I'm gonna try to make sure I put the little linky thing here. I might
the little
forget.
thing that like drops down
Wait,
and does
I think it's on this side.
No, you can put it on either side, right?
I can move it?
Yeah, I think you can move it, dude.
Oh shit, I didn't know. But anyway,
yeah.
This one is called History of Coffee Global Addiction. Walk like an addiction. Those aren't the lyrics. Anyways, I'm excited to see what this video has in store for us. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started.
I'm really interested to see if there's any more religious conflict in terms of coffee. Because that was the most interesting part.
Which, like, I knew about kind of, but didn't know, like, the depth of. So that was pretty cool.
1683.
Okay.
Vienna. After 2 grueling months, the siege of Vienna is over. The Ottoman army is fleeing back to Constantinople, and the victorious coalition is pillaging their abandoned camp.
Istanbul's Constantinople. That's what I think of every time I hear it.
It's pretty good. Yeah.
And Jersey friend Zizek Kolczyski was key to this victory.
That's a great
A
name.
Polish diplomat and spy, he'd managed to slip out of the city to get help. As a reward, he can pick anything from the spoils he wishes. But instead of gold or jewels, he picks several cartloads of coffee beans and starts the first coffee house in Vienna.
Wow.
At least that's the legend.
Right.
An Armenian Christian actually opened the first one in 1685, and Kolczyski's own coffee house, the Blue Bottle, followed it shortly after.
Nice.
But while not the first Viennese cafe, the Blue Bottle was definitely the most innovative.
Okay.
Because to combat coffee's bitter taste, Jerzy Kolczyski served his coffee with milk.
Oh, man, what a freaking beast.
Man, a legend.
Oh, really?
Wait.
Yeah. What?
You're gonna be really mad when I say what I have to say.
Why?
He's legend.
Say it. Just fucking say it. Just say it. Just say what you have to say, please. He's legend what? God, I just want to shut this video off, dude. We don't have to finish this. Say it. You have to say it.
He's legendary.
God, I could just shut this video off. All right, here we go.
Hold on.
I just walked right into that, didn't I? I walked right into that.
Okay. Okay, I'm
You
good.
ruined a wholesome moment for me, by the way. This memory is going to be ruined for the rest of my life. Don't bring this up to me.
I'm good. I'm ready.
All right.
Thanks so much to humankind for helping us keep this history brewing. Last episode,
brewing.
we talked about how coffee houses filtered into Europe, how they fostered conversation and the development of business. But we'll let that steep for a minute and discuss the pressing matter that we're sure you're frothing at the mouth to know. What kind of coffee did they serve? Well, if you traveled back in time and walked into the Grecian or Jonathan's and paid a penny for a dish of coffee, what would it taste like? Gah, pretty dang gross, actually. In fact, you might not even recognize it as coffee. First off, the beans would have been stale, having been roasted at their origin and then transported in non-airtight containers on leaky ships.
Damn.
It was also prepared in Turkish style, with the beans boiled along with the water,
Right.
which is fine if you like that.
Yeah,
but due
that's-
to European laws that taxed the sale of liquids by the barrel, it had to be pre-brewed, left to sit, and then reheated before serving. The taste, however, wasn't really the point. Coffee was quite literally consumed as a drug, and the first coffee houses in London were well aware of this. In fact, they circulated handbills that described coffee as medicine that cured any number of complaints, while also pointing out that a businessman needing to work late into the night could use it to revive themselves. People, in other words, drank it for the buzz, both of the drug itself and the atmosphere of the coffee house.
That's
Right.
good,
And not to put too fine a point on it, but that caffeine had an incredible effect. Because before coffee, the primary drink at all times of the day was alcohol. Tavern records from England and France show individuals drinking incredible amounts per day. And English and Dutch sailors were even given a gallon of beer per day, though granted that beer was only 1% alcohol, as a daily ration. Often you'll hear
Wow.
that this mass switch from alcohol to caffeine as Europe's most common drug, a depressant to a stimulant, created the Enlightenment and the Age of Revolution.
Right.
But they had to drink beer and other alcohols
Yes,
because
they
the
did.
water wasn't safe to
Yes,
drink.
they did.
You
Yep.
know? And yeah, so
Yeah,
but that makes sense.
Boiled water just doesn't have a ring to it, does it?
Yeah.
But they also didn't know boiling water in particular saved them from pathogens
Exactly.
like we understand now. So,
Exactly.
yeah.
But that's kind of too simplistic. Habitual heavy drinking continued through the next several centuries.
Right.
And in fact, a trip to the coffee house was often done to sober up after a long night in order to overindulge again. But
sure.
as drunkenness became increasingly frowned upon in the 17th and 18th centuries, coffee became even more favorable as a tool for a more sober, punctual, and industrious society. Caffeine, however, did have an effect on the increasingly addicted population of Europe. English diarist and public servant Samuel Pepys claims he drank 25 cups a day.
Goddamn.
And French philosopher and novelist Voltaire
did.
supposedly drank 50. German composer Johann Sebastian Bach even
Really?
wrote the Coffee Cantata.
I am a Bach fan. I did not know that he was obsessed with coffee.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
What a hilarious factoid. Man, that's something that would be cool to know for trivia.
It would be so cool to know for trivia.
A short comedic opera about a father trying to break his daughter's caffeine addiction, in which she sings a love song to the drink, calling it more delicious than 1,000 kisses, and crooning that she must have her coffee.
Okay.
Honestly, hard same. So yeah, it's fair to say that people liked getting their fix, and it made them more productive. But the social chemistry of the coffee house also made it indispensable in the developing Enlightenment as a public forum for conversation, literature, and politics. In fact, many even began publishing daily or weekly journals to inform about recent events and intellectual arguments in order to keep everyone informed and raise the quality of the conversations. Some of which, like the Tatler and Spectator, even became papers and magazines later on. And coffee houses also broke the church, government, and university monopoly on knowledge, as
Yeah.
these conversations moved into the public sphere.
Yep.
And before long, they got nicknamed penny universities, due to the ability to pay a penny for a cup of coffee and sit listening to the greatest minds of the age. And as we mentioned in the last episode, revolutionary politics often brewed along with the coffee. For instance, in 1675, King Charles II tried to shut down the coffee houses in London because the patrons were criticizing him. A decision so unpopular, he reversed it immediately.
Yeah.
So, while
Yeah.
coffee didn't create the Enlightenment, it definitely helped it along.
Fueled
But
it,
there
yeah.
was an economic problem: supply. See, this new European drug habit had a single supplier, the Yemeni port of Mocha. In fact, all
Oh.
coffee drunk in Europe came via the Middle East or the Ottomans, meaning there was money to be made for any European country who could establish a new supply, which admittedly was hard to come by, because the sultans, understanding that they'd cornered the market, passed laws saying that beans must be roasted before shipment, meaning they could never be planted. So enterprising
Genius.
merchants looked for a way around.
Genius.
The Dutch East India Company were the first to break the monopoly,
True.
when one of their agents managed to smuggle a load of beans out of Yemen strapped to his body. The
Theft.
climate in Amsterdam wasn't right, however, and in 1696, the East India Company decided to try planting a crop in a warmer place.
So I actually saw that reference in a history documentary
Right.
years ago. And there was this huge long buildup of the guy strapping a bunch of stuff to his stomach and like smuggling it out. I thought it was just general drug smuggling, and then
Yeah.
they moved on. But now I get that the implication is that produce has value and that it was also regulated for the seeds.
Yeah.
And so I understand that now. Like here, everybody had a very good understanding of what seeds were worth. And we control that now, and that's like a big thing Monsanto's doing, generating the seeds that can't be
Yeah.
planted or whatever. But it's actually just along with the history of everything else, even coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's really interesting. Like everyone is like, I understand that it's like monopolies are bad, right? Like that's the thing, that monopolies are bad. But it's really interesting to see how colonization is what spread coffee to the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like literally just people going somewhere and stealing something that did not belong to them and being like, I have a thing now.
Yeah.
But that is what fueled all of these revolutions. So I think that's really interesting.
Yeah.
Their new colony on the island of Java. The crop took off. And by the beginning of the 1700s, Java coffee was supplying most of Europe, knocking the Arabica coffee from Yemen out of the European market. Others took note. In 1714, a French naval officer took a plant from the Royal Botanical Gardens in Paris,
Oh my
a
God.
diplomatic gift from the Netherlands, and took it to Martinique. According to his likely exaggerated
Bro.
account, the plant survived a storm, a pirate attack, and even a Dutch spy trying to kidnap it. From Martinique, the plant went all over the French Caribbean,
Yeah.
until the Portuguese then stole it from the French when one of their agents supposedly flirted with a French colonial governor's wife until she gave him a bouquet with the beans hidden in the bottom, starting the Brazilian coffee industry.
Wow.
But if you're
That's
starting
so
to sense
cool.
a dark side behind these myths, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
Europe's caffeine addiction not only drove the establishment of coffee plantations around the world, it also required massive
Yeah.
use of African slave labor to produce.
Yep.
In fact, the exploitation of coffee production helped lead to the Haitian Revolution
Sure
and
did.
contributed to Brazil deforesting its coast and keeping slavery until 1888.
Wow.
Sadly, this is the legacy that in some ways continues to this day, where coffee growers and laborers often face poverty and exploitation, leading to the fair trade and single origin movements.
Yep.
And the world only got thirstier for the bean-based rocket fuel. Because while Britain, previously the world's largest coffee-drinking nation, switched to tea, which was cheaper and easier to drink in the home, a new addict had entered the fray: the United States. The American coffee habit began with the Revolution,
Yeah.
when disputes over taxes on tea made switching to coffee a patriotic gesture. And despite its name, the Green Dragon Tavern, headquarters of the Sons of Liberty, was actually a combination pub coffee house.
I
But
did
it was the
not
Civil War
freaking
that
know
really
that.
kickstarted America's addiction.
I told you I could open up a bar and coffee house and it would be successful, and history proved me right.
A bar what coffee house?
A bar and coffee house.
A bar what coffee house?
And
Yours is not a bar / coffee house. It's a -- What all three? A bar
and
and
coffee house.
coffee house and
Oh yeah. And a bookstore.
and bookstore. I didn't say it can't be a bar and coffee house. I said it can't be a bar, coffee, book house.
I disagree.
Nobody want to read a book, get an Irish mule, and a freaking vanilla latte.
But they might want to get a book and get an Irish vanilla latte.
It's not gonna happen.
I'm telling you, it'll work.
You're no Sons of Liberty.
Don't steal my fucking idea. It's copyrighted. It's not copy. It's copyrighted the same way the videos on YouTube be copyrighted.
We're gonna
Like so,
submit
like
the
not
same-
really.
We're gonna submit the same claims they submitted on video. It's not mine, but I'm saying it is. I love it.
The Union Army considered coffee a staple good and issued soldiers a daily ration. And many drank the equivalent of 10 cups a day, often brewing it out of water so dirty even the horses wouldn't drink from it. The Confederates, by contrast, had their caffeine supply pinched off by the Union blockade and had to make do with unappetizing substitutes, brewed from roots, leaves, and ground peanuts.
How chicory
And
came around?
funny thing, if you get hundreds of thousands of soldiers addicted to coffee, it turns out that the demand explodes once the government isn't giving them their daily grind.
Right.
After the war, and during westward expansion, coffee quickly became part of American life. So much so that a whole industry developed to supply the need. These branded coffee companies, like Folgers, would roast huge quantities of beans in the East and ship them west in airtight sealed cans, pre-ground and ready for consumption in the home. Meaning, it finally tasted fresh and good.
Yep.
Then, Italian coffee culture made the next great leap after World War II, introducing the espresso,
Really?
which I mispronounce espresso all the time.
I didn't know it was that recent.
Oh, okay.
I definitely thought espresso was an older tradition than that.
Don't be afraid to espresso your espresso. You know, I see you get a little worried there.
I gave a rant it was months ago now about the word nuclear versus nuclear, because nuclear is the right way to. I feel the same way about espresso versus espresso. Like every time I hear espresso, it nails on a chalkboard. On a chalkboard. Unless it's a pun.
Right. Okay.
Espresso as a pun, top notch.
Yeah.
A small concentrated cup made under pressure, meant to be drunk fast while standing at a counter. And by mixing it with foamed or heated milk, they found you could make a massive range of drinks.
Yeah.
Drinks that, ironically, became much more popular in the rest of the world, while most Italians still prefer their espresso black.
Yep.
And that's pretty much how we got here. From a mysterious plant that made goats
Not the
dance
goat.
to a worldwide industry. But what's most amazing about coffee is in some ways how little it's changed. Though the method of drinking it has evolved over time, we still use it to stay up late or get up early. You'll still see coffee houses cluttered around universities and can walk into one anywhere in the world and find creative or business minds at work on laptops or in meetings. Heck, that's how Rob wrote these episodes. A flat white in hand, sipping history. Cheers to that.
Ah, man. This is subject matter that is clearly very close to mine and Chavez's heart. We love coffee.
Stomachs.
My husband likes coffee more than I do. I think I like coffee in theory.
Yeah, you don't actually really like coffee.
You know what's so funny is I like coffee more now than I did like when I was younger. Before, I would only drink coffee with hella sugar, hella milk. And like recently I ordered the drink that I used to get from Starbucks, which I'll put the description up, but I'm not going to say it because it's kind of embarrassing.
Okay.
But I recently ordered that and I drank it. I was like, this is disgusting.
Yeah, that's what I've been telling you for years. It's horrifyingly bad.
It was so
and you're going
bad.
to read it and you're going to think, that doesn't sound good. It's not. It doesn't taste like anything you would want to have. But you know what? Kudos on you for growing in your taste. But thank you actually for bringing me in this. I've heard bits and pieces, mostly about the bad parts of the history of coffee. When learning about like fair trade coffee, I've always really known about the labor that it takes to make.
Of course.
But getting a well-rounded view of the history of that is what I am very well-rounded on.
Yeah.
But hearing the myths and stuff, I've actually never even heard before about coffee. So that's super cool.
Yeah, I really liked, this is 2 videos. It's a 2-part thing.
Right.
I really liked how they broke everything down, to like kind of like the bare bones basically.
Yeah.
And then, they fleshed out some parts, but there's still plenty of research that you can do on your own to really delve deep into like coffee and coffee culture and how it impacted the world. So I really liked how like concise this was.
This could have easily been an hour-long video. They could have still been talking about things. Yeah.
And I really think that that's a skill because I can never seem to shut up. So thank you so much for joining me here for this video. Thank you guys for thank you guys for tolerating my terrible joke. I want to know how many people, I'm going to look at the statistics and see how many people turn off the video after that joke. I want to know. But don't forget to leave your reaction requests and recommendations down in the comments below. I hope you guys enjoyed the video as much as we did. And other than that, peace out. Oh, do you have something to say? Peace out, Ho Biscuits. It's Skittin' Lit.